Happy New Year from Pro Wrestling Austria. We are in Lanzenkirchen tonight as we get ready to start 2025, and we are starting it off with a bang because here come the Pro Wrestling Austria Tag Team Champions. Vilmos and Erkci, the Gulyas brothers from deep in the Hungarian countryside. Two young men who go from strength to strength, not just here in Pro Wrestling Austria, but wherever they compete all around Europe. And such is their confidence level as of late, that a few weeks ago, they issued an open challenge for tonight. Anybody, any team could come out here and accept that challenge to take on the Gulyas brothers for these tag team titles. Who is going to answer that call here tonight?
Sie sind die amtierenden PWÖ Tag Team Champions.
Gulyas brothers won those tag team titles last January at Chapter 6, Stronger Together. Since then, they've beaten the likes of Team Turbulence, the Greedy Souls, among others. But who is it who they will have to take down here to start the new year?
Und jetzt sind wir alle sehr gespannt. Wer nimmt die Open Challenge an?
No way! Can it be? It is! They're here! Sanity are here!
Kilogramm. Aus Dresden, die Extra, sein Tag-Team-Partner, das Beast of Belfast, Big Demo. Zusammen sind sie Sanity.
Well, I don't think any of us were expecting this. We've seen Axel Tischer here in Pro Wrestling Austria before, but he's never brought Big Demo with him. Together, as we know, these two part of Sanity, a group who took over WWE a few years back, former NXT Tag Team Champions as a group. These two former Progress Tag Team Champions. And to see two members of Sanity here tonight to challenge for more tag titles, this time in Pro Wrestling Austria. Man, what a shocker. And what a way to begin a year that promises to be full of surprises here in Pro Wrestling Austria. Well, I wonder now if the Gulyas brothers are regretting issuing that open challenge, because they've ended up in there against one of the absolute best teams on the planet. Referee Rainer Ringer is going to request that the Gulyas brothers hand over those tag team titles. Will it be for the last time? It could be. Normally you'd give the advantage to the champions, but no disrespect to the Gulyas brothers. When you're in there against Sanity, when you're in there against Big Damo and Axel Tischer, it's very, very difficult to see past them. But we will see if the Gulyas brothers can find a way to put down Sanity here. My God, that would be a career highlight for these two young men. Dave Bradshaw here with your English language commentary. It's going to be Axel Tischer to start things out for the challengers. And Ökshi for the Gulyas brothers. Gulyas brothers have had a lot of success, not just here in Pro Wrestling Austria, but elsewhere as well. They're two-time HCW Tag Team Champions in their native Hungary. Been teaming since 2018. And also in HCW in singles competition. Vilmos, the current HCW Revolution champion. And it's Ökshi here who gets backed into the corner by Tischer, and Tischer was just taunting him there, as if to say, I don't have to give a clean break if I don't want to. Tischer now going behind with a rear waist lock. Ökshi, the bull of the village as he is known. And for very good reason, the size of this young man. Tischer got a hold of the left arm. Axel Tischer's had a pretty colourful recent history here in Pro Wrestling Austria. Won a 12-man Rumble match back at Chapter 7 last April to become the #1 contender for the Openweight title. Had his shot at that title in September at Chapter 8, critical damage against Martn Pain, but came up short. So clearly Tischer has decided to shift his attention to the tag team titles. It's an ambitious goal for Sanity, and it's an ambitious goal to try and pick up Ökshi with a body slam. Whereas when the shoe's on the other foot, effortless. And the bull of the village starting to feel it here. Ökshi and Vilmos trying to double team on Tischer. Tischer was able to outsmart them, get out of the way, and then Big Damo providing reinforcements for Sanity. Damo never made the tag, I don't think. He just saw that both of his opponents were in there and just decided to even the odds. If you're the referee, you're going to say no to Big Damo. Look at the size of him. And one man in there who maybe is bigger than Gulyas Ökshi. And here he is now, he has tagged in. So it's Big Damo against Vilmos. Damo, as I said, his first time in Pro Wrestling Austria tonight as he collides again and again here with Vilmos. Neither man going down. These two just going time and again at each other. In the end, it was Big Damo who went down to a knee. That's a bit of a mini victory there for Vilmos. Well, Damo, though, quickly turning things back in his favour. And Damo dragging Vilmos towards the corner so he can tag in Tischer. Tischer with that leaping uppercut. That elevated position courtesy of Damo. The Boston Crab and the drop of the knee from Tischer. Pin from Tischer for a 2 count there. Ökshi is getting a little frustrated here. That is a deliberate plan on the part of Axel Tischer. Whenever the referee is busy dealing with Ökshi, Tischer can do what he likes to Vilmos essentially, because the official's not paying attention there, and now he's going to wear the young man down. Tischer from Dresden in Germany. Wrestled all around the world, not just as part of Sanity in WWE, but pretty much everywhere else you can think of. He's been there as Axel Tischer. Now he's on the shoulders of Vilmos. Quickly slips out the back door, gets a rear waist lock, lifts Vilmos up. Vilmos goes to the rope, holds on to the rope, and I think Ökshi tagged in there. The scoop body slam from Vilmos. He's going to scoop up his own brother and use him as a projectile to throw onto Tischer. Ökshi testing the waters on the cover, and Axel Tischer kicking out. Tischer, the current Progress Atlas champion. He's been a world champion in GWF, former 2-time WXW Unified World Wrestling champion. He's the head coach of the pro wrestling school in his native Dresden. The hook of the leg here from Vilmos, and a 2 count on Tischer. So Tischer, the far more experienced of the two men in the ring right now. He almost doesn't seem to mind. He's very, very comfortable in there. Him and Ökşi, who's just tagged in, have made the tag team division here in Pro Wrestling Austria their own throughout 2024. They're looking to do the same into 2025. There's a snapmare takedown into a side press. Tisha was just able to kick out once more, but Ökşi on top of him again. That massive left arm wrapped around the jaw here of the Axeman. Tisha trying to edge towards Big Damo over in the corner. Instead, Tisha's gonna find himself in the opposite corner, the worst place for him to be. He's as far away from his partner as he could possibly be in there. He knows it as well. Axel Tisha gonna try and battle out of the way, and he does so, making the tag to Big Damo. Damo, a pair of clotheslines. The Beast of Belfast taking matters into his own hands. Big crossbody from Damo. Unreal agility for a man of his size. Damo over the top rope. Kicked outside the head of Ökşi. Clothesline to Vilmos right in the throat there. And then Uranagi takedown. Over the top comes Big Damo. He's a sight to behold in that wrestling ring is Big Damo. And he almost secured the tag team championships there for Sanity. Damo also with plenty of championship gold on his resume. He's the current world champion over in OTT in Ireland. Triple Crown winner in Progress Wrestling in the UK. Former WCPW world champion as well, and ICW. Tisha is back in there now, dropping Vilmos hard on the back of his neck again. Gonna see if that's enough. Vilmos not gonna surrender the tag team titles that easily. I think a lot of these fans still processing the fact that it was Sanity of all teams who've answered this tag team challenge tonight, this open challenge, and the Gulyas brothers, who were clearly very confident in making that challenge. But the downside, obviously, is that they haven't had time to prepare for their opponents because they didn't know who they were going to face. Having to make up their strategy on the fly here. I think the strategy for Vilmos right now is simply to survive, as Big Damo ripping and tearing at the young Hungarian's face. Uppercut taking Vilmos down. Big Damo asserting himself on his Pro Wrestling Austria debut. There's Damo just taking his time here, methodically taking apart Vilmos. Vilmos trying to force his way towards his brother. Damo with a big elbow smash. And we hope you are enjoying the action here this evening. We are in Lanzenkirchen in Austria, and we'd love to know what you think of all the action you're seeing as Big Damo picking up Vilmos onto his shoulders, and there's a clothesline. Damo taking him down. Don't forget you can follow us on social media at Pro Wrestling AT on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Join the conversation online and let us know what you think of all of the action. The beginning of the year is here comes Vilmos with the tag to Ökşi. Finally able to free himself from Sanity was Vilmos. Ökşi now, left hands. Time and again from Ökşi onto Axel Tisha. Elbow right to the point of the head. Avalanche in the corner from Ökşi, who goes straight to the ropes here. The big boot takes the Axeman down, and Tisha is down for the count maybe. Hook of the leg from Ökşi. There is an escape there on what, 2.5 from Tisha. Ökşi will tag in Vilmos. Quick tags now from the defending champions. They're going to look for the double team. Tisha on Vilmos' shoulders, but send him into his own brother. How smart was that from Axel Tisha? Tisha having tagged in Damo. Sanity looking to double team here on Vilmos with Urkshi at least briefly taken out of the equation. Vilmos will go to the ropes. Double big boot and then a backcracker. Running senton. Damo looking to win the tag team titles. Urkshi just saving those titles for his family for now. Urkshi into the corner. They're both members of Sanity, quick to join him. Tisha went to the apron so he could become the legal man. Stereo kicks there from Sanity. Tisha leaping over the other two. Vilmos has his shoulders pinned down. He was able to get them up off the mat. Prior to the count of three, the match goes on. Tag team titles here, still hanging in limbo. It's not the only championship match we've got coming up tonight. Among others, don't forget our main event, the Pro Wrestling Austria Openweight title on the line. Martn Pain defending against El Babo Metehan. Well, this tag team title match might be over quickly. It would have been if Vilmos hadn't got himself off the shoulders of Damo there. There's a double crossbody. Vilmos knocking both of Sanity down. Making the tag to Urkshi. Momentum now with the champions. He's going to try and lift up Damo. Got him. A double powerbomb. The pin from Urkshi. And Tisha, that kick right into the side of the head. Into the temple of Urkshi. Tisha thrown over the top, held onto the top rope and then pulled it down to send Vilmos down to that hard wooden floor. That leaves Urkshi in there on his own. Urkshi able to dodge Tisha, but he can't dodge Damo. Pump kick takes Vilmos off the apron again. Urkshi's in huge trouble here. I think he's on his own against both members of Sanity. Damo saying the end is coming. And that neck breaker position into the splash, a massive splash from Big Damo. Tisha will make the pin, and we have new tag team champions.
Und damit die Sieger und neue Pro Wrestling Österreich Tag Team Champions. Tisha, Big Damo,
Sanity become just the second ever tag team champions in Pro Wrestling Austria. A team we didn't even know were here a few minutes ago. It shows you just how quickly things can turn on a sixpence here in Pro Wrestling Austria. A title reign that had lasted a whole year coming to an end with a click of a finger. The blink of an eye, and everything changes. Sanity on top of the tag team mountain here at the beginning of Chapter 9, Under Pressure. A special moment for Big Damo on his Pro Wrestling Austria debut, but also a special moment, you've got to say, for Axel Tisha. After failing to win that openweight title back in September, for him to immediately bounce back like he has and to become a tag team champion is testament to exactly why he is one of the best in the world. But the best tag team in Pro Wrestling Austria right now is Tisha and Damo, because they just unseated the Gulyas Brothers.
Und wir machen direkt weiter mit dem zweiten Match. Es ist ein Singles-Match mit einem Zeitlimit von 20 Minuten und angesetzt auf einen Fall. Auf dem Weg zum Ring. Er kommt kommt aus Karlstadt in Deutschland und wiegt 83 Kilogramm. Hier ist für euch Lucifer Lohan!
Yeah, from Karlstadt in Germany via the 7th circle of hell. Lucifer Lohan, a man who, if you're one of his opponents, is very, very hard to prepare for, because you're looking at a man with no moral compass. There is no dirty trick that he will not stoop to committing if it helps him on his path to victory. So if you're his opponent, you have to be prepared for absolutely anything. Lohan revels in that unpredictability, and he revels in that deeply unpleasant persona. So that unfortunate sign language towards the fans there, for which we apologize. Wow, look how fired up Asara is to be here. Youngster with Vietnamese roots, now living in Prague, Czech Republic. He is a student of the pro wrestling school in Dresden, run of course by Axel Tischer, who as of a few minutes ago is now one half of the Pro Wrestling Austria Tag Team Champions. Saw Asara in action last summer at our summer open air event in June. He was part of a four-way match against Maverick, Rage and Sultanov. He's one of those young guys who you just feel could have a breakout year in 2025 if he can get off on the right foot now. So Lohan and Asara. Bell rings, here we go. Lohan, that unpredictability that Asara's going to have to cater for. You can see it's a cautious start. Asara's not dashing in here against Lohan. There it is. Again, you never know what he's going to do next. A little pose there from Lohan. Asara not going to be distracted. Comes the collar and elbow tie-up. Asara trying to force Lohan down to a knee, but Lohan with that leg strength, pushing Asara step by step back into the corner. Referee wanting a clean break from Lohan. Lohan, who often doesn't give one, gave one there. All part of the mind games, I think. Lohan was also a part of the summer open air event, the one that Asara competed in. Asara here, bringing the fight to Lohan. Lohan at that event last June was in a six-man tag team match. He won that match alongside the Bleach Blonde Bastards against David Oliwa and Team Turbulence. Asara with the drop kick there though, and it's Asara who's getting the better of this one at the moment. Lohan going to take his time. Asara's had enough of him taking his time, going to pursue him around the ring. Lohan looking for refuge inside the squared circle. Asara tricked him there. Lohan dropped the leg, there was nobody there. Lohan trying to come after him. Asara, that baseball slide under the bottom rope. Able to catch Lohan with his foot, with his boot there. The uppercut from Asara. Asara aware of the referee's count, doesn't want to leave this outside of the ring for too long. Very quickly and very smartly bringing Lohan back into the ring. Now he's going to take a risk. Asara up top. Yeah, it was a risk not worth taking. Lohan, that guile, that cunning, use that to go to the ropes there, knocking Asara off balance. Now Lohan's going to try and exploit the precarious position that Asara's in. What a kick that was to the side of the head. Yeah, it might seem hard to believe that Lohan has any friends, but he does. He has a tag team partner in Randleman. They are together, known as Ray Give Out, which translates as brute force. Randleman, every bit as charming as Lohan is, thankfully. Lohan out here on his own here. Lohan once more just bending those rules as much as he can. You saw him there stretching that arm over the rope. Here's a snapmare takedown, a kick to the spine. Lohan having done a pretty solid job here of taking the crowd out of this, making it seem like there's very little hope for Asara. Asara undoubtedly the fans' preferred winner. The elbow from Lohan. Lohan doing this at his own pace. And he's deciding when the next barrage of offense is coming. Russian leg sweep, the back of the head of Asara bouncing up off the canvas. Now Lohan will go to the ropes. There's a leg drop. Another one. Looking to complete the hat trick. In fact, he decided to display a bit of arrogance. Look at the smirk on his face. Look how pleased he was with himself. And that show of disrespect to his opponent tells you a lot about Lucifer Lohan. He's choking out his opponent here. Asara just struggling to get any oxygen flowing through those lungs. Both of these men would love to start the year of a win as we head on for a busy calendar in 2025. Chapter 10 coming up in March 28th in Krumbach. Chapter 11 in Grumbach on September 20th. Both of those events going to be on YouTube again. PWOE.at is the website for all of our event and ticket information. But neither of these men can be looking to March or looking to September right now. It's all about the here and now. Asara trying to find a way, any kind of half opening that he can use to get back into this match against Lohan. Able to get the boot up there as Lohan ran in. Lohan coming at him again. Yeah, and he knew this time that Asara was going to do that. Came prepared. Kick to the back, now goes to the ropes with that sliding German suplex. Lohan mocking the fans for applauding him. I don't think he likes it when they're on his side. Prefers to be unpopular, and he's very good at it. There's a double foot stomp, perfectly delivered. Asara kicked out, but Asara didn't help himself there. I think he really didn't know where he was in the ring, rolled away from the ropes. Would have made it harder to get out of the cover if he couldn't get his shoulders up off the canvas. Luckily for him, he was able to, though. There's a snapmare and Lohan. Is he going to go to the spine? No. And locking in a sleeper hold, deciding maybe instead of the high impact offense here that the fans might want to see, he's just going to try and wear his opponent down, maybe put Asara to sleep with this sleeper hold. Right, hands to the kidney and then a jawbreaker. Smart from Asara. Good way to get out of that predicament. Now Asara with a chance here. Forearm smash. Blocking the attempts at the strikes from Lohan. Hit another forearm. Asara step up in Zaguri. Taking Lohan off his feet hard. Asara is measuring Lucifer Lohan. Comes at him with a clothesline in the corner. Lohan had nowhere to go there. Asara seeking a massive, massive win that could really kickstart his Pro Wrestling Austria career here. huge missile drop kick. Lohan doesn't know where he is, but he knew enough to kick out just in time. Asara, a moment of frustration, but then refocusing his attention. That roar was more of defiance than of anything. Measuring Lohan again. Got that knee, didn't get as much of it as maybe he wanted. He's going to follow up with an uppercut. Tried for the knee again, and this time Lohan saying no. Asara went to that move one too many times. Oh, Lohan's got him tied up here. Hang on a second. Lohan, his most devastating move, the spike climax. Lohan, I think this is over. Well, it should be over, but Lohan deciding. I think Lohan let him up there. Lohan wants to teach this young man a lesson. He's going to do more damage. Middle rope springboard moonsault. Has he decided that's enough? Yes, he has. Lohan wins it.
Sieger dieses Matches, Lucifer Lohan.
Credit to Asara, who gave it his all here, but Lucifer Lohan just too much for him in the end. The spike climax, followed by that springboard moonsault. And Lucifer Lohan, as malevolent as he is, also reminding us that he is hugely, hugely talented. It could be a bumper year for this man in pro wrestling Austria. Lucifer Lohan, with a spring in his step here, goes back to the locker room, no doubt, to gloat about an impressive victory over Asara here at Under Pressure.
Der nächste Kampf ist ein Singles-Match mit einem Zeitlimit von 20 Minuten und angesetzt auf einen vor! Auf dem Weg zum Ring.
Ricky Sky loves nothing more than the look of his own reflection. In fact, so much so he wasn't really looking where he was going there, let's face it. Sky, in the broader sense, knows where he's going this year, or where he wants to go. He wants to go right to the top of the card here at Pro Wrestling Austria. Sky with a point to prove here. Chapter 9 after Chapter 8 critical damage back in September, a loss to the Cowboy James Storm. Diotima in tow. She is the self-proclaimed smartest wrestler in the world, although she does legitimately have a doctorate in philosophy. She's been something of a mixed blessing, though, for Ricky Sky as of late, as Diotima was critical in Sky defeating Jay Joshua at Chapter 7 Battle Zone last April. But her efforts to help him against James Storm backfired. Nonetheless, though, Diotima very much the brains of this operation. That shows you a lot of insight there. One with a mirror, one with a book. That mirror's cracked. That's 7 years bad luck, isn't it? Ricky Sky was reprimanding Virgile there for not having a mustache. awesome to see Yuto Nakashima here in Pro Wrestling Austria, along with his tag team partner Oskar, who we're going to see in action later on. They form Youngblood, the team that won the World Tag Team Festival over in WXW in Germany back in October, as a result of which they became the World Tag Team Champions in WXW, championships that they are still holding on to. Both Oskar and Nakashima, young lions over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, currently on excursion to Europe. Look at that moustache. That is, I think that might have a life of its own. Nakashima also a current tag team champion in PWH as well. Made his debut in New Japan all the way back in 2021. So bell rings between these two, and could be a very interesting matchup. Two very different personalities, you can see from the trash talk we're getting already here from Ricky Sky. Sky, I think, is seeking, if not popularity, then attention here. He needs to take seriously, though, the physical threat posed to him by Yuto Nakashima. Nakashima with an MMA background prior to his time in the New Japan dojo. No fear whatsoever from Nakashima. Has taken Europe by storm on this excursion over these past few months. Sky has a judo background, so that could be an interesting pairing here against that mixed martial arts skill of Nakashima. As you can see, both of these two more than capable of hitting hard. Nakashima is getting the better of it, though, with a trio of elbows there. Sky firing back, he'll go to the ropes, shoulder block. Nakashima come at him, and the elbow of Sky saved him temporarily, but the reprieve did not last long. The shoulder block from Nakashima taking Ricky Sky down off his feet onto his knees here. Nakashima's not going to give him any time to recover. Burying a knee into the chest and a clubbing blow across the back. The pain already radiating around the body of Ricky Sky. Sky able to get out there with some boots now to the mid-back. In fact, in the end, it was right between the shoulder blades, the last couple of those stomps. Really doing a number on the entire spinal column there of Yuto Nakashima. Dropping of the elbow from Ricky Sky. Sky, another elbow, and this is probably the longest all day that Ricky Sky has gone without looking in a mirror. Nakashima realizing that he's playing defense here. It's Ricky Sky dropping that knee right across the back of the neck, which kind of forced the throat of Nakashima across that second rope, cutting off the airways. Once more, Sky is really focusing on the upper back, the area between the shoulder blades. Can really compromise the mobility of Nakashima, who at least had enough mobility to kick out of that pin attempt. Side of the head there from Sky, and Nakashima, that just seemed to enrage him. So these noises that Nakashima is making. Adrenaline flowing here for one half of Youngblood. Ricky Sky trying to short circuit any momentum he might be about to build, but Nakashima trying to lift up Sky with a fireman's carry, but the elbow of Ricky Sky again proving to be his most lethal weapon in this match so far, or is it? Hang on now. Nakashima has him up. Able to drop him hard on his back. The entire frame of Ricky Sky getting rattled there by Yuto Nakashima. Nakashima up in the corner, comes at Sky again. Intense physicality of Yuto Nakashima, maybe his biggest asset. Boot into the chest. Nakashima certainly feeling it now. I'm sure his tag partner is watching this from the wings here. Oskar, we mentioned, going to be in action a little bit later on against Rage. The Youngblood would love to leave our event here tonight in Lanzenkirchen with a pair of singles victories. And the repeated kicks in the corner. Nakashima, and with the devastating strike of all. Sky knocked off his feet. Now just deposited down by that bottom turnbuckle. Nakashima tuning up the band. It's bad news for Ricky Sky. The double knees into the face and the shoulders of Sky. Nakashima rolls him away from the ropes, goes for the cover. That right leg, the outside leg was hooked, but Sky was still able to kick out. Nakashima indicating that a knee is about to be buried in the skull of Ricky Sky, but Team choosing this moment as the opportune one in which to interfere. Referee not happy with her. But that did buy Sky some time. And he's going to use that time to pick up Nakashima. Gets him with the back suplex. Has him rolled up here. Nakashima narrowly getting the left shoulder up off the canvas. We said that Team has been a mixed blessing sometimes. She certainly may have been a difference maker there. Sky still spending a lot of time, a lot of energy, just yelling things at the crowd. Still seems to have Nakashima under control. Look at him though, he's pointing a finger here. Less talk we need and a few more moves, because Nakashima has had time to recuperate. Not smart at all from Ricky Sky. Nakashima brings down the knee pad, gets the knee right into the jaw. Could have shattered that jawbone. Ties him up for the cover, and Ricky Sky able to survive, but goodness me. Nakashima was given an opening there and he's taken it. Be a matter of seconds away from victory here for Nakashima. Team is on the apron once again. Obviously causing a distraction. Nakashima had seen enough, went for a swing. There's a shot with a mirror. A shot with the mirror. Referee was dealing with Team. Big slam on Nakashima after that cheap shot with the mirror. And Ricky Sky has just robbed Yuto Nakashima. Ricky Sky delighted with himself, having cheated his way to victory. Another assist from Team. Those couple of interventions from her really did prove to be the difference. Ricky Sky recovering from that loss to James Storm in September by starting the new year with a victory here, albeit a tainted one, over Yuto Nakashima.
Der nächste Kampf ist offensichtlich ein Women's-Match, ein Singles-Match mit einem Zeitlimit von 20 Minuten und angesetzt auf einen Fall. Auf dem Weg zum Ring. Bitte begrüßt ganz herzlich. Diese junge Dame kommt aus Dresden in Deutschland. Und sie ist die ostdeutsche Abrissbirne.
Nero, the East German Wrecking Ball, making her Pro Wrestling Austria debut. And to be honest, Nero has been a bit of a verbal wrecking ball in the build-up to this match. Heard her comments insulting not just her opponent, but the entire nation of Austria. I don't know if she was expecting a warm reception here after all of that, but she clearly hasn't got one. You've got to say, I think she deserves the reception she's received.
Und hier kommt ihre Gegnerin.
Jessy.
Auf dem Weg zum Ring. Sie kommt aus Sandburg. Sie ist der Kennungsring-Pitbull.
Never leaves the house without her trusty kendo stick, doesn't Jessy J? And of late, she hasn't left the house without a championship belt or two. She's the current GQP Women's Champion, as well as the Independent Women's Champion. That's the belt she's brought with her. Oh, what does Nero want? Hang on. Just to explain here, Nero is the former Independent Women's Champion. She's demanding a rematch.
Nero hat Jessy J herausgefordert und damit ist es offiziell, dieses Match steht um den Independent Women's Championship.
Virgile, our ring announcer, is the promoter of Project Nova. One of the main places where that title is defended. I think Virgile has agreed that the title can be put on the line here. So this is going to be an impromptu title match. Jessy J doesn't mind at all. She's a fighting champion. Nero is a former two-time holder of that Independent Women's title. God, what a slap from Nero. Nero's such a nasty piece of work. Jessy J going to try and teach her a lesson. Leapfrog from J. Young woman from Salzburg. Background in judo. There's Jessy J, and you can see very adept at throwing opponents around the ring. J sent to the ropes. Moxie followed her there. J, I think, was looking for another leapfrog. Nero just shoved her down. Jessy J to quickly back up. Nero once more taking her down. Nero with a almost psychotic look in her eyes as she pursues that third title reign with the independent women's title. Once more, Jay was quickly up to her feet and a clothesline taking Nero off of hers. Snap suplex from the kendo stick pitbull. Jessy Jay will run in. Jay now with Nero on the shoulders. Nero's fingers just raking at the eyes there. Nero rolling to the outside, buying herself a bit of time. Taking a seat in the front row. Some of these fans mocking her. There's no timeouts in a pro wrestling match. Jessy Jay deciding unilaterally that timeout was going to come to an end, but Nero able to see her coming, cut her off. Chop across the chest from Nero. Nero gonna pick up Jay, send her face first, onto the ring apron, went to the edge of the ring there. Jessy Jay has spent most of the past couple of years really in what was a bitter rivalry with Moxie that began all the way back at Chapter 2 of Pro Wrestling Austria back in April of 2022. That rivalry lasted all the way through to Chapter 7 last year when it was a last woman standing match that Jay lost to Moxie. Only lost it though to Jay because in a second here she's going to charge in. She can be a little bit reckless, can Jessy Jay, and it cost her there, just like it did cost her in that last woman standing match. Jay charged at Moxie in that match at a table, and Moxie sidestepped it. Jay went through the table, and that was the end of that. She was similarly rash there, and going for the boot, ended up getting her leg wrapped around that steel ring post as a kick out, though. As this time, Jay Nero, attacker, going for the cover. Well, after all of that bad blood between Moxie and Jay, it was good to see Jay showed Moxie respect, offering her the kendo stick. No such respect on display here from Jay Nero. These two women, really, you can tell, just from the body language here, thoroughly dislike each other. Nero really going to town on that leg now and just seeing if she's caused enough pain for Jay to give up, but that was a forlorn hope. Jessy Jay is a fighter. Jay getting dropped on her front though by an increasingly confident Jay Nero. Nero with a shrug of the shoulders, exuding an air of inevitability here, the victory. Clearly believes that independent women's title should have been hers all along. Those strikes from Jay though, trying to get herself back into it. Swing and a miss from Nero. Cost her as she got hit with a back suplex. Jay just trying to get some feeling back in those limbs. Nero going to the bottom rope, into that corner. Might not be the best place to be because Jay trying to run in. That knee giving out. Nero can't believe her luck. The strategy here of Jay Nero to focus on that right leg certainly working out. Drop Jay with real ferocity down on her front there. It seems like it's a matter of time right now for Nero. Living up to her nickname as a East German wrecking ball. She's another one from Dresden, from that pro wrestling school in Dresden that's run by Axel Tischer. Jay, though, just saw an opening there, got the inside cradle for a 2 count. Nero going to lift up Jay onto her shoulders, fireman's carry. Couldn't quite get her up there. Jay shoves her to the ropes. Clothesline takes Nero down. With the elbow from Jay. And another clothesline. Then the elbow once more. Now Jay with a Samoan drop. Canvas rattled with the impact of that one. Jay gets herself on top of Nero for a 2 count. And the Independent Women's Championship continues to be on the line. A title match we weren't expecting here. Remember, once more, we'd love to know what you think of all the action tonight. We're at Pro Wrestling AT on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and on YouTube. Nero able to cut off Jessy J as she was climbing up top, and once more sent front first down onto the floor. Here's a pin here, and a kick out from Jay. Referee insisting that was a counter 2, much to the annoyance of Nero. Nero getting in the face of a young fan. What's she doing here? Well, she's grabbed the title belt. That's not hers, that's Jessy J's. And even if it was hers, you can't bring it in the ring in the middle of a match. What is Nero thinking? If she uses that as a weapon, she's going to be disqualified. She'll lose her shot at regaining the title. Jay Nero's lost her cool here. The referee's doing her a favor, snatching that title belt out of her hands. Nero with the kendo stick. It was all a ploy. Referee got his back turned. The kendo stick to the skull, and Jessy J gets the left shoulder up. What a hideous miscarriage of justice that would have been. Jessy J didn't let it happen. Nero, though, seemingly thinking that she's just a move or 2 away here from getting it done. Discus elbow buying Jessy J a moment or 2, but only briefly. She gets spun around, turning into a real fight between these two. Jay able to get Nero up, sit out powerbomb. Jay with the pin and a kick out from Nero. Now these two women, so well matched. It's been at least 1 or 2 occasions each here where I think the smart money would have been that both Jay or Nero in different moments could have won this, but we're still here, we're still going. Jay has a victory roll from Nero, hooking those arms, got the shoulders down, it's a 2 count. Boot to the midsection, Jay's, the knee went again. The knee went again for Jessy J. Nero with a real smile on her face, thinks that she's outsmarted Jay here. The sunset flip into the corner, the back of the head of Jay, just colliding with that turnbuckle. That thin padding not offering much protection to the back of the skull of Jessy J, who's now getting hoisted up onto that top turnbuckle. Nero maybe looking for a superplex. A superplex that could earn her a 3rd run as the Independent Women's Champion. No, Jay fights her off, kicks her in the face. 2nd turnbuckle, missile drop kick. Nero taken down. The German suplex from Jay. Nero up to her knees. Nero is trying to come in there, maybe with a clothesline, another sit-out powerbomb, a 2nd one from Jay, and Jessy J will retain the Independent Women's Championship. Pitbull by name and by nature, Jessy J tenaciously refusing to relinquish the Independent Women's title even after she was hit firmly in the top of the skull with that kendo stick. coming back into it. Oh, come. Nero isn't finished. Talk about a sore loser. This double under DDT onto the title belt. Screaming it's her championship, but she is not right. It's not her title, and certainly not her kendo stick. Nero seems to be at risk of snapping in the middle of the match, and snapping again here, going after that right knee, the one she weakened so much. Someone get in there and stop this. Nero's removing the knee pad. What little protection there is on that knee of Jessy J. She's looking to hurt her here. Nero's looking to seriously hurt Jessy J. That knee now totally exposed. The kendo's, oh wait, look who's here, Moxie's here. Moxie, the longtime rival of Jessy J, arriving just in the nick of time and bringing with her that kendo stick that Jay presented to her. Oh, there's a sight we never thought we would have seen a year ago. Nero still making a lot of noise, but she has retreated from the ring. Jessy J has Moxie to thank for the fact that there wasn't some serious damage post-match done to that leg. It seems that bitter enemies have become better friends. Jessy J being helped out by Moxie. Jay successfully retaining the independent women's title and successfully holding on to feeling in her right knee, thanks mostly to her former arch nemesis. For the best part of a decade, these two men have been Austria's #1 tag team. But Team Turbulence, Tommy Tornado, Tommy Torpedo have been on a losing streak here in Pro Wrestling Austria ever since they lost to the Arrows of Hungary in September of 2023. Had a chance to become the tag team champions against the Gulyas brothers in April last year. Couldn't quite get that across the finish line. And what was once unanimous support for Team Turbulence, you can hear there's a smattering of boos among the cheers now. interesting situation in this tag team match because these four men, Darius, Tihanyi, and Team Turbulence, teamed together at our last show, Chapter 8, Critical Damage, and that big fallout match against Amboss. Tommy Tornado pinning Dover at the end of that match after Tihanyi put Dover through a table, but after that match, Team Turbulence basically ignored Darius and Tihanyi during the post-match celebration, and in an interview we saw afterwards, claiming that they were the ones solely responsible for the victory. That might explain where some of the boos have come from for Team Turbulence, and it certainly explains why Darius and Tihanyi wanted to go from partners to opponents. So Darius and Tihanyi, who did team with Team Turbulence, now going to take them on. What a year it's been for Peter Tihanyi from Budapest, Hungary, the current WXW Unified World Wrestling Champion and the GWF World Champion. He's also been champion over in his native country in HCW on 2 previous occasions. Entering his 7th year in the business now, even though he's still just in his mid-20s. Darius from Vienna here in Austria. Had a chance to become the Openweight Champion here in Pro Wrestling Austria in January last year against the then champion Robert Dreisker. Darius with a roll-up here from Tornado. Tornado was maybe a little bit complacent. They certainly believe their own hype, the Team Turbulence. They are the #1 tag team in the country with good reason. I think it's a fair claim. An uppercut there from Darius, though. Going to knock some humility into Tornado. Darius holding Tornado up. Incredible strength, also great balance to do that. Darius dropping him down. And that delayed vertical suplex now will go for the cover early on. It's a kick out on 2 from Tornado. Darius and Tihanyi have already teamed on 2 previous occasions with each other. The 2-on-2 match against Icarus and Lawrence Roman of Amboss at Chapter 7 Battle Zone in April last year. And then that 4-on-4 match with Team Turbulence as their partners I talked about in September. They clearly do not have the tenure as a pairing that Team Turbulence have, as Torpedo just tagging in. Powerful looking body slam there from Tornado. Tornado getting the elbow up into the face, and then the boot into the face of Torpedo. Taking on Team Turbulence single-handedly here. It's never going to last for long. Double hip toss from Austria's #1 tag team. Now, their timing remaining absolutely perfect here as Torpedo went for the pin. It was a kick out. So well in sync with each other. Tornado and Torpedo having been teaming together since 2016. Darius, though, able to escape that suplex attempt, tagging in Tihanyi. Only with elbows and then a chop across the chest. Goes down low to Tihanyi. Great speed from Peter Tihanyi, as we always see from him. Pair of arm drags. Cover up there. I think Team Turbulence expecting a drop kick. Torpedo didn't receive one, but as soon as he looked up, receive one he did. And the journey of Peter Tihanyi, I've talked about it many times, but from when he was a teenager in the late 2010s, starting out, to now one of the absolute best in Europe. It has been a story worthy of a movie. And the story is still in its early chapters, you've got to think. Darius here, his partner, in that gutbuster on Tornado. Dropping in with a backbreaker. Darius has him up on the shoulders. Dropping the back of the head across the knee. Darius, who captained the team that these four were all a part of against Amboss last September. He dropped the top rope there as Torpedo tried to illegally interfere. Now Darius with Tornado held in place. Another backbreaker. It wasn't really even on the. It wasn't on the back there. It was kind of on the ribs on the side. Darius about to do some more damage. Torpedo pulling Tornado out of the ring. Darius and Tihanyi both trying to get out at the same time. Both got caught in different ways by Team Turbulence. Smashed into each other now. And then into the ring posts. And Tornado and Torpedo look so good when they're in the ascendancy as they are here. Hard to imagine how anyone can overcome them. That's the task though here for Darius as Torpedo tags in. Darius sent into the corner. More damage to that back. It was just sent into the ring post, remember. Torpedo not liking the boos that he's hearing from some of the crowd. Tornado trying to help out by trying to distract Darius, and off the distraction, Torpedo sweeping that leg away. Darius again landing hard on the back. Torpedo sending Darius into the Team Turbulence corner. Able to follow him in. Doubling down on the damage. So tagging in his partner, Tornado. So slick here from Team Turbulence. Tornado holding Darius in place while Torpedo got that shoulder thrust into the abdomen. Tornado's the legal man. He'll try and win it here. He won't be able to because the left shoulder will come up for Darius. Team Turbulence well on course for victory as they start their year in Pro Wrestling Austria. Remember, much more action coming up this year. Talked about it earlier. Chapter 10 coming in Krumbach, March 28th. We're in Krumbach on September 20th for Chapter 11. Both those events going to be on YouTube. But right now we are in Lanzenkirchen. Chapter 9, under pressure. It's been a newsworthy night indeed already. New tag team champions, Sanity. Surprise appearance from Axel Tischer and Big Damo to take out the Gulyas brothers. Both of the teams in this match, I'm sure, will have been having one eye on that as Darius, the sunset flip. A clothesline from Tornado. Tornado hooked that leg, got a 2 count. Peter Tihanyi looking increasingly concerned about the well-being of his tag team partner, who's rolling under the bottom rope, which is a sign, I think, that Darius feels like he needs to take a breather if he can. He's not going to get one, though, because Torpedo is in. Torpedo going to drag him back through the ropes into the ring. And Tornado, double foot stomp into the stomach. The hook of the near leg from Torpedo gets another 2 count for Team Turbulence. Referee confirming another 2 count as Team Turbulence just continuing to wear down Darius, who's been in there a long while now, just chipping away at the armor. Looking to ensure that they can put him away before he has any hope of getting to Peter Tihanyi over in the corner. Sleeper hold on Darius. Well, at this point in the match, that is a smart move, you've got to say. Darius already been battered and beaten. You can cut off the blood supply, cut off the oxygen supply to the brain. That could be the final nail in the coffin here for Darius. Darius, though, trying with every fibre in his being to stay in this. He had just enough left to hit a jawbreaker. That's freed him. Can he make it to the corner? Well, doesn't matter if he can, because Torpedo knocking Tihanyi off of the apron, preventing the tag. Torpedo tried to, maybe a Death Valley driver, but Darius escaped, kind of landed on his feet, got the elbow there. Now off the top, great agility from Darius into the crossbody, stays on top for a 1 count before the kick out. But the bigger benefit here, rather than the fact that he was able to get on top of him briefly, is that he might be able to make the tag. Tihanyi is chomping at the bit here to make the tag. Tihanyi desperate to get in there against Team Turbulence. Both men crawling to their partners. Torpedo's going to get there, and so is Darius. Fresh blood for both sides. Tihanyi getting the better now of Tornado. Torpedo trying to get involved. Tihanyi made him regret that he did. Using Torpedo as a springboard. There's a Tornado DDT on Tornado. Tihanyi living up to the hype that surrounds him at the moment. Showing why he is one of Europe's premier pro wrestlers, taking on Team Turbulence, 2-on-1 at the moment. Super kick from Tihanyi. Tihanyi trying to throw, almost was thrown out, and was able to reverse it through Tornado out. Takes out both members of Team Turbulence. High fives for some fans in the front row from Peter Tihanyi. Tihanyi throwing Tornado back into the ring. That Meteora low into the shoulders. Tihanyi looking for the victory. Tornado kicking out. After everything that Team Turbulence had to say about how they were the sole ones responsible for the victory over Amboss at Chapter 8. Diminishing the role of Tihanyi and of Darius, you'd have to say, if Tihanyi and Darius could beat them here, it would really be kind of a humiliation. Team Turbulence have made a lot about how they are or were the senior members of that 4-man team. Darius is tagged back in. Now, has he had enough time to recuperate? That's the question. Took a lot of damage before making the tag. Tornado there, though. Is dropped across the knee of Darius. And Darius, now his spanking hand. Darius looking for a fisherman suplex. He's got it perfectly applied. Torpedo had to save his partner, or this match would have been over, I think. Darius going to tag in Tihanyi. More frequent tags between these two now. Tornado into the corner. Tornado with the elbow. Tornado went up to the second turnbuckle. You know, he slipped there, I think. Looks like he landed awkwardly on his right knee. Still able to get that knee up, but he's wincing with pain. And that landing didn't do him any favors either. Tihanyi and Darius are holding off here a second, because I think they realize there might be a serious problem here for Tornado. You can't mess about when it comes to knee injuries. You know, a lot of European wrestlers in recent years have had knee injuries that have kept them out of action for a year or more, so referee quite right to temporarily stop this while we check on the condition of Tommy Tornado. He's trying to get to his feet, but this doesn't look good. Oh, wait, Torpedo tossing Darius out. Here's the roll-up from Tornado. And Tornado wins it. What happened there? Well, Team Turbulence clearly saw an opening, and Darius and Tihanyi were turned away from them. But the reason they were turned away is they were concerned they were letting the referee do his work, because Tornado seems to be injured. Oh, I don't understand that at all. Was that a deliberate ploy on the part of Tornado, or was he really hurt? Torpedo shrugging his shoulders and saying, well, one way or another we won. Darius and Tihanyi equally shrugging their shoulders. You can't really legislate for an ending like that. Tihanyi clearly not impressed. Well, obviously we hope Tornado's okay, but a controversial victory here for Team Turbulence over Darius and Tihanyi.
Machen wir jetzt weiter mit der zweiten Hälfte und wir beginnen mit dem nächsten Match. Es ist ein Singles-Match mit einem Zeitlimit von 20 Minuten und angesetzt auf einen Fall.
Now hang on a second here, that's the music of Sultanov, here he comes. Sultanov no longer on the active roster here at Pro Wrestling Austria, had to end his career at Chapter 8, critical damage back in September due to continued problems with concussions. Had his last fight at Chapter 8 against David Oliwa. Sultanov not scheduled to come out here, what's this?
That's mein Ring! Hey. Es tut mir leid, wer mich nicht kennt, mein Name ist Sultanov. Seit meiner Verletzung am Kopf kann ich nicht mehr wresteln. Das ist ein Problem. Denn manchmal bin ich etwas langsam im Kopf. Aber ihr Bauern versteht das ja alle, ihr kennt das Problem, oder? Das spielt aber keine Rolle. Ich habe eine andere Berufung gefunden. Ich bin jetzt der Herold der Zerstörung, der Botschafter des Untergangs, der Messenger der Wut. Und ich habe jemanden gefunden, ein ganz junges Talent, das es würdig ist, von mir supportet zu werden. Jemand, der mit meiner Hilfe ganz groß hinaufkommen wird. Er wird alle besiegen und der neue Champion werden. Und sein Name ist Rage!
Well, it sounds like Sultanov has taken Rage under his wing. Pretty ominous words there from Sultanov as well, calling himself the Herald of Destruction, the Ambassador of Doom, the Messenger of Rage. And now, apparently the Manager of Rage. Rage, whose nickname is the Sniper. Current Austrian national champion with our friends over in CWE. He's competed outside of Austria as well, in Germany and Italy. We've seen him here before in Pro Wrestling Austria, but yet to see him pick up a win. He was part of the Battle Zone Rumble last year. He was in a four-way match at our Summer Open Air event in June. And now with Sultanov backing him up, Rage might be a different prospect altogether.
Spendet ihm für mich einen großen Applaus! Rage!
He undoubtedly looks intimidating in that mask, that muzzle.
Und hier kommt sein Gegner. Dieser junge Mann kommt aus Hamburg. Er wiegt 117 Kilogramm. Er ist der zweite Teil des Tag Teams Youngblood. Oskar Leube!
Oskar Leube, the other half of Youngblood. We saw his tag team partner Yuto Nakashima falling victim to Ricky Sky and Diatima earlier on. Oskar, therefore, I'm sure, even more motivated to pick up the win in his singles match, but real spanner in the works here, the fact that Rage is now under the tutelage of Sultanov. The size of Oskar, standing over 2 meters tall. Oskar from Hamburg, but was the first German ever to graduate from the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo, along with his Japanese partner Nakashima, on excursion to Europe. We mentioned it earlier, Youngblood, the winners of the WXW World Tag Team Festival. Currently the reigning World Tag Team Champions over there, but Oskar in singles action here. And Oskar much more popular apparently with these fans than Rage. Collar and elbow tie-up. Two very powerful competitors in action here. Oskar made his pro wrestling debut back in 2019, been in New Japan since 2022. When he came back from Japan on excursion, a very different wrestler to the one that left. As Rage has a handful of hair there, it looked like. The referee wanted a clean break and got a little bit of afters with that overhand chop. That just seems to have annoyed Oskar. It's something you don't want to do. Rage now, though, with the side headlock. Looking for a new chapter in his career with Sultanov now in his corner. Oskar daring Rage to go to the ropes again and again. Rage changing tack here and kick to the midsection. Oskar just will not be moved. What a monster of an athlete Oskar is. Slap across the chest there from Oskar. Sultanov doesn't like what he's seeing there. Oskar, an absolute force of nature, still very early in his career. Gonna go for the pin here. It's a 1 count. Didn't hook the leg, didn't Oskar? Oskar, though, with a smile on his face, enjoys nothing more than a hard-hitting wrestling match like this. And to lift him there maybe for a powerbomb or a pile driver. Rage was able to just escape to the outside, sense the danger quite correctly. Oskar going to follow Rage to the outside, I think, where Rage is going to regroup with Sultanov. Oskar trying to take a swing there at Rage, eventually catching him with those big clubbing shots across the back. Oskar wanting Sultanov to stay out of his business here. Rage though grabbing Oskar and sending him back first into the steel ring post. Rage does seem to have a bit more swagger in his step, the confidence that comes with having Sultanov. And Sultanov, I'm sure, will teach Rage a lot, some of it within the rules, some not. And that's one thing he seems to have learned. He's smart there to roll into the ring and back outside to reset the referee's count For again sending Oskar into the steel. Sultanov playing cheerleader on the outside as Rage celebrates himself. The way Rage is pacing around inside the ring, he's not going after Oskar. I think he thinks he can get the count-out win here. Referee was up to a count of 6. Oskar rolling back in. Rage quickly grabbing him again. Oskar refusing to be lifted. Oskar with that front face lock, trying to just lift Rage off the ground, trying to use that height advantage for extra leverage. These double axe handles though. From Rage, certainly being felt by Oskar. Rage now pushing his knee into the chest, and that meant all the force of the tension from that middle rope was across the middle of the back of Oskar. Rage focusing very much on the back and the ribs and the abdomen in general. That middle part of the torso, clearly the focal point here for Rage. Maybe that is a deliberate strategy that he discussed with Sultanov. This will do even more damage and stretch out that back. Rage with that butcher's hook grip underneath the chin of Oskar. And all of his body weight down on the back. Incredibly difficult to escape from that position. Oskar realizing that maybe the best way, certainly the most energy efficient way, was to get to that bottom rope, which he did. Elbows and chops here from Oskar. Rage quickly though cutting him off. There is, I think, a new viciousness here to Rage. I don't know how long this alliance with Sultanov has been going on, how long Sultanov's been training him. Seems to have boosted his game by a few notches here as he goes for the cover and gets a 2 count. Rage now getting his head under the arm, looking to lift Oskar. Oskar so very difficult to manipulate, to maneuver if he doesn't want to be moved. Trying to lift him up for a choke bomb there, but Rage gets the shot to the back and drops him with a side suplex. Rage grabbing that near leg, and with the other leg, Oskar kicking out. Rage living up to his name at the moment, just slapping the canvas in frustration. Oskar refusing to stay down. Oskar looking to make sure that his tag team Youngblood don't go 0-2 tonight. Once more trying to hook in a submission. Camel clutch. Very similar to the position he was in before, with those hands beneath the chin. Body weight down on the lower back. No advantage to being 2 meters tall if you're down on the canvas. That's the logic here. Sultanov, you can see, was just pulling that bottom rope away from Oskar. Only a few centimeters, there's not much give there, but a little bit of space could be the difference. Oskar no longer trying to grab for that bottom rope. He's going to, I think, try and power out of this. That is remarkable strength to get back to your feet and to back into the corner. Rage relinquishing the hold off of the impact there. And speaking of impact, what an elbow from Oskar. And another one. Oskar went for a clothesline. Now he'll try for the body slam. He'll get it as well. Despite the damage to the lower back, Oskar had enough strength left to lift up Rage and to drop him with the slam. Chop from Rage. Oskar happy to reciprocate. And these two knocking lumps out of each other right in the middle of the ring here. just taking it in turns, or are they? Oskar now maybe getting a couple in a row. Rage comes back with the kick. That kick from Oskar could have ended Rage's night. Rage may be out of it here. Oscar's going to look for the choke bomb again. He'll get it as well. Oskar with a hook of the leg. Rage just kind of doing a sit-up to get out of that pin. Oskar, though, needs to get back on top of Rage while he still has the advantage here. Oskar firing himself up. You saw him headbutting the canvas there. Lives off the adrenaline, lives off the pain. Lives off being in the heat of battle, does Oskar. Has he got enough strength in that lower back to get the power bomb? He's got him up. Tried to lift him up further, and Rage was able to jump over his head. It's an exploder suplex. Rage will climb on top of Oskar. He might have done enough here, you know. He might have done enough. Oskar proving that he hadn't, but it was a close run thing. Rage trying again, same result. It's a case of maybe diminishing returns here now for Rage. Every one of those kickouts looking slightly more persuasive than the last, as Oskar had a little bit longer to recuperate, but Rage putting paid to that now as he continues to just put the boot into the chest of Oskar. Look at Sultanov. Sultanov's got a hold of Oskar. They show him the Rage. Sultanov's got to let go of Oskar. Hey, referee's going to call for the bell. You can't do that. It's a 2-on-1 assault, basically. Well, the bell is rung. Rage needs to let go of Oskar. Oscar's going to win this by DQ, I think. Look at Nakashima. Nakashima's seen enough. Yuto Nakashima, who no doubt is in a foul mood after what happened to him earlier, isn't going to see his tag team partner getting assaulted. Sultanov's seeing his new protege in trouble here. Nakashima has him up and drops him on the back of his neck. Nakashima coming to the rescue of Oskar. Youngblood reunited here in the middle of the Pro Wrestling Austria ring. And Rage might be about to pay a price for his behavior. Suplex, that powerbomb neck breaker. And Youngblood decimating Rage.
Sieger dieses Matches durch Disqualifikation, Oskar Leube.
Confirmation that Oscar's going to win this by disqualification. Not a satisfactory way to win a match, but referee really didn't have any option when Sultanov and Rage started that attack in the corner. Sultanov would not let go of Oskar. And the result, the match was thrown out by the official.
Und einen großen Applaus für das Tag Team Youngblood!
So Youngblood having a mixed evening here in Austria as we continue with more from Chapter 9, Under Pressure. Tihanyi once more trying to struggle his way free, but Dover just almost gorilla-like in his strength. Wickerus with that wet floor sign. Tihanyi moved out of the way, and a serious miscue there. A rare lack of coordination between the arrows of Hungary. Peter Tihanyi. Tihanyi with Dover on his shoulders. The Death Valley driver. Dover has obliterated that table. The pin. Dover is down, and Team Darius defeat Amboss.
What was that, guys?
I don't know.
This is not how it should be done. This is not how it should be done. Before everything worked out well.
Nothing worked out well.
Yes, it worked out. It worked out. Don't blame us.
No, I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming you.
Me. You blame.
Yes, I'm blaming you.
It's all.
Everybody followed the protocol. You didn't. You didn't. You let us down. You let the whole group down.
But it's about all 4 of us, not only me.
Yeah, and 3 of the 4 delivered. And you did not. God's sake.
Zuerst mit einem Gesamtgewicht von 307 Kilogramm. Aus Dresden in Deutschland, Lawrence Roman. Aus Budapest in Ungarn, Icarus. Und aus Gelsenkirchen in Deutschland, Robert Dreisker. Zusammen sind sie Amboss!
Notice how, once again, Robert Dreisker insisted on being announced from Gelsenkirchen, Germany. He does live there now, but he is in fact Austrian. Dreisker refusing to give these Pro Wrestling Austria fans any reason to think that he has anything in common with them. Roman from Dresden in Germany, Icarus there from Budapest, Hungary. A trio that was once a quad. We just saw that recap where Dreisker apparently identified the weak link in Amboss as being Dover after their defeat at Chapter 8 in September. As far as I'm aware, Dover is not associated with Amboss in any way since that night. A ruthless standard that Dreisker as the leader of Amboss maintains. He believes that Dover did not reach that standard. It seems he's got rid of him.
Und ich rufe Ihre Gegner in den Ring. Gesamtgewicht von 302 Kilogramm. In den Ring zuerst aus Krakau in Polen, David Oliwa. Aus Wien, Tamatou. Und aus Slowenien, hier ist der Yuto.
You can hear the roar of approval for this team being led out by Mirko Panic. Panic had, what you got to say, was an unfair defeat against Metehan last time around at critical damage. Metehan removed the turnbuckle pad en route to defeating Panic. Unfair or not though, Metehan's victory has put him in line for a shot at the Openweight title. That's coming up next, our main event. Metehan challenging Martn Pain. In the meantime, Panic turning his attention to Amboss. What a team he's brought with him. David Oliwa and Tamatou. The atmosphere changing in a split second. From the intimidating, imposing music of Amboss to the party atmosphere that Panic and his team have instilled from the moment they came through the curtain. And Amboss are gonna jumpstart the ambush. Amboss, the name meaning anvil. They're dropping the anvil here on this team of Panic, Oliwa and Tamatou. Before the match has officially begun. Roman going after Oliwa. Dreisker, looks like he's isolating Oliwa. This match could be over quickly. Amboss like a pack of wolves once they gang up on you, once they mount an assault. They will rip you to shreds. Amboss have had a real chip on their shoulder for the past couple of years, believing that the rest of the pro wrestling world isn't up to their standards. So they've got no time whatsoever for the personalities of their opponents. Oliwa, though, holding his own here against Dreisker. Not only holding his own, but the shoulder block taking Dreisker out. Oliwa, originally from Poland, now living in Vienna. Lost against Sultanov, who we just saw. Critical damage in what proved to be Sultanov's last match. Lawrence Roman here, in for Amboss. Amboss, so devastating as a unit, but even as individuals, absolutely remarkable what they've all achieved. Roman, the winner of last year's 16-carat gold tournament over in WXW. Went on then to become the Unified World Wrestling Champion there. He's also been the Shotgun Champion there, World Tag Team Champion as well. Same is true of Dreisker, by the way. He's held all of those titles. Oliwa is looking not to be intimidated by the track record of his opponents, and he's holding his own here against Roman. With the suplex. Roman finding himself in the wrong side of the ring. As Tamatou tags in. First time we've seen him here in Pro Wrestling Austria since Chapter 4, all the way back in April 2023. He was a Pro Wrestling Austria original, though, part of the Battle Imperial back at Chapter 1. A video gaming enthusiast as well, Tamatou. I'm pretty sure Icarus doesn't own a games console. He doesn't really like to do anything that most human beings would consider to be fun. Tamatou gets that sunset flip on Icarus. Icarus is, wait a second, on Tamatou, able to counter there. Tamatou. Oh, hold of that left arm of Icarus. Tagging in Yuto. Mirko Panic. Panic, a 20-year veteran. Slovenian roots, very proud of those. And Panic will run into Icarus here, but in fact they run into the elbow of Icarus. Icarus, such an intelligent wrestler, master technician. Panic with the ripcord into a fireman's carry. And then dropping him with the Samoan drop. Panic climbing on top. Maybe just took a second or two too long to get there. Icarus was able to kick out at one. Icarus has held championships wherever he's been as well, particularly in tag team action. Panic dropping the leg here. And Dreisker grabbing the leg of Panic to break up that cover. Icarus and Dover, when they were still a unit, the Arrows of Hungary, won championships in every part of Europe. Oliwa now tagged in. It's that midsection of Icarus. Panic! Get that knee into the face. Now Oliwa from the second turnbuckle. Lawrence Roman has lost his very short temper. Icarus, the back of the distraction there from Amboss, gets the elbow up. Smart teamwork again from Amboss. They are so well known for. You might not like the ethics of it, but it's quite the sight to see. Highly effective. Working as a unit, distracting the official, infuriating the opponent's teammates, and then ultimately finding a way to gain the upper hand. Dreisker now. Dreisker was, hang on a second, so shoulders down for a 2 count. All of his achievements elsewhere. One of Dreisker's finest achievements. It's here in Pro Wrestling Austria, where he was the Openweight Champion for 588 days till April last year. Roman now on the back of Dreisker, just unloading with those right hands to Oliwa. Vicious kick from Roman. Gonna immediately force those shoulders down, got his body weight on top as well. Another 2 count for Amboss. Oliwa trying to reach towards his corner. Roman just putting his body between Oliwa and Oliva's teammates. And bringing him back into the Amboss corner where Icarus is waiting for the tag. Chop from Icarus, an uppercut. Oliwa taking a sustained beat down now at the hands of Amboss. Look at Icarus again, it's a coordinated attack here from Amboss. Icarus with the clear diversion. Dreisker and Roman getting those cheap shots in. The referee, I think, was a little naive there in falling for that. You hear that from Icarus? It's all good, we play by the rules, he says. People who actually play by the rules generally don't have to protest their innocence quite so much. But Dreisker now with the elbow across the back of the head of Oliwa. Dreisker, so much power. Frame of Robert Dreisker, super heavyweight, can move like a cruiserweight. Another very, very intelligent wrestler. He is the head trainer at the WXW Wrestling Academy. Responsible for bringing through a whole generation of up-and-coming European talent. Roman and Icarus have got pretty good credentials as coaches as well. Oliwa gets dropped onto the knees. Roman rolling him over. Oliwa had to kick out, managed to do so before the count of 3. The fact that all 3 of Amboss are coaches makes their behavior in the ring sometimes even more inexplicable. It's really just unforgivable the way they approach their matches sometimes. But then I suppose in response to that, they will tell you they always win. The fact that they didn't win in that 8-man tag team match at Chapter 8 was such a jarring experience for them that, as we know, Dover paid a big price for it. Big splash from Dreisker on Oliwa, who goes up on that right shoulder after a count of 2. Anic was thinking about jumping into the ring there to help out his partner, who was so concerned that Oliwa wasn't going to be able to kick out before the count of 3. Here we go. Oliwa now back to his feet. Getting some shots in here on Dreisker. Dreisker over that massive leg. Quickly cutting him off. Knocks his 2 partners off the apron. And then brings Oliwa back into the Amboss corner, but the other 2 members of Amboss getting struck there by Oliwa. There's a spine buster. A trademark move of Oliwa, the spine buster. And Dreisker didn't expect that coming. Now Dreisker out on his back. Panic is back up on the apron if Oliwa can get there. Dreisker looking to make the tag to Roman, he will. But here comes Panic, the Yugo. Roman and Icarus being taken down by Mirko Panic. Panic colliding with Roman in one corner, going to the other side, doing the same to Icarus. Mirko Panic, a ball of energy here in this 6-man tag team match. Roman forced to collide with Icarus. Mistake there from Amboss. Panic's going to make them pay. Avalanches them both in the corner. Roman ends up on the shoulders of Yugo. A spinning atomic drop that time. Or have a Samoan drop, I should say. Yugo trying to get the crowd fired up here. Comes the tag to Tamatou. Panic diving off of the apron. Took out one of his own partners as well as Dreisker. Tamatou with a frog splash. The hook of the leg, Icarus saving Roman. Amboss nearly lost again. Icarus has Tamatou up on the shoulders, or at least he did. Tamatou doing a great job here, fighting back against 1/3 of Amboss. Big right hand from Tamatou. And the uppercut. Elbow backs Icarus up to that opposite corner. Tamatou will run in, strikes him with the forearm. Tamatou was looking, I think, to finish the job against Icarus. Roman stopped that from happening. Tamatou getting dropped on his face. Look at that tandem strike from Amboss. Amboss with a hook of the leg. And Lawrence Roman, just like that, picks up the win for Amboss.
Und die Sieger in diesem Match: Icarus, Lawrence Roman, Robert Dreisker, Amboss!
An Amboss defeat is a rare thing. 2 in a row would have been almost unthinkable, and it wasn't to be. Dreisker, Roman, Icarus celebrating victory. Very different scene to what happened at Chapter 8. Dreisker delighted with the win. Roman and Icarus a little taken aback by his over-enthusiasm here. Dreisker wanting the two of them to participate here in this gesture of bringing down the anvil. Well, Roman and Icarus don't seem quite so happy to do so. There's a bit of discord here between Amboss. Well, this is getting heated. There's an argument going on. Amboss, undoubtedly not quite in the same condition they were in when they had an extra member in Dover. I'm not sure if maybe Roman and Icarus are not quite so sure about Dreisker's decision to take Dover out as Dreisker is, but Dreisker's walking out of here on his own.
Die Sieger dieses Matches, Amboss.
I'm not really sure what that was about, but it was a heated exchange, especially for a team who just won. Icarus and Roman at least on the same page. A hug between those two, even when they're not necessarily all singing from the same hymn sheet. They remain a very, very difficult force to overcome here in Pro Wrestling Austria and indeed throughout Europe. Coming up next, our main event, the Pro Wrestling Austria Openweight title on the line. Martn Pain tries to survive the challenge of the Babo Metehan, and it's next. Tonight belonged to the man who is still the Pro Wrestling Austria Openweight Champion. Martn Pain brought the pain. Oh, wait, hold on a second. That's Metehan. What's Metehan doing out here? The Babo assaulting the champion. Strike from Metehan. And Metehan sending a message here. The Babo is coming for the championship. Metehan with his foot resting on the chest of Martn Pain. Metehan ruining the celebration here. And this might be a threat every bit as dangerous as any that Martn Pain has faced, because Metehan has his sights set on the Openweight Championship.
Wir kommen zum Main Event der heutigen Veranstaltung. Es ist ein Singles-Match, angesetzt auf 30 Minuten Zeitlimit. Angesetzt auf einen Fall. Und es geht um die PWÖ Openweight Championship. Ich rufe den Herausforderer in den Ring.
The evil eye of the Babbo scours the horizon here and under pressure. From the moment at the end of Chapter 8, a moment you just saw when Metehan made his intentions clear, there has been a shadow hanging over our reigning openweight champion, Martn Pain. You're looking at a man in Metehan who is just about as dangerous as they come. And for all of Martn Pain's brilliance, for everything he's achieved, how on earth does he overcome someone as good as the Babbo? That is the challenge he must figure out. Metehan, ever aggressive, ever angry, going to take that anger out on his opponent.
Und hier kommt sein Gegner.
You see the words emblazoned on the video screen. Get ready for pain. Martn Pain won the Openweight Championship from Robert Dreisker, who we just saw last April. And since then, he has successfully defended it against the likes of Marius Alani, Ricky Sky, and at Chapter 8 against the Axeman, Axel Tischer. An incredible list of defeated foes. But can Martn Pain add the Babbo to that list? That is the question that has been haunting this man throughout the past 4 months, no doubt. He will have heard the pundits saying that Metehan is a step too far. Is that the case? Or can Martn Pain once again prove that he is the rightful Pro Wrestling Austria Openweight Champion? Main event time here at Chapter 9, Under Pressure.
Ich begrüße die Kontrahenten zum heutigen Main Event. Referee in diesem Match, PWÖ Head Referee Rainer Ringer. Zuerst der Herausforderer zu meiner Rechten. Er wiegt 90 Kilogramm. Er ist der Babo aus Berlin, Metehan! Zu meiner Linken, der Titelverteidiger kommt aus Wien und wiegt 100 Kilogramm. Er ist der amtierende PWÖ Openweight Champion. Get ready for Martn Pain!
Formalities out of the way, the introductions are done. Referee Rainer Ringer will take that openweight title belt. He'll show it to Metehan. And he'll show it one more time to this crowd. Metehan has that kind of psyche where he takes exception to the very notion that he doesn't deserve to be immediately handed that championship. He believes that everybody in all of European wrestling, indeed in the whole wrestling world, is beneath him. I know that Metehan talks about how his motivation is fighting for his family, to put food on their table. It all sounds very noble, but there is definitely an element of Metehan that just enjoys beating people up. Another part of the experience that he certainly enjoys here in a wrestling match is playing mind games with his opponent, making them work on his time. A part of NXT UK was Metehan, former world champion over in GWF. He's been a shotgun champion in WXW, tag team titles just about everywhere. Won WXW's 16-karat gold tournament back in 2019. He's got wins here in Pro Wrestling Austria against the likes of Chris Cohen, Peter White, and last time around, Mirko Panic, although talked about it earlier, it was controversial the way he beat Panic, removing that turnbuckle pad. Hip toss from Martn Pain. Pain getting the better of Metehan. Metehan to the outside and he'll regroup. Whenever you think about the victories Metehan has had, talking about that removed turnbuckle pad, actually those other two victories I talked about as well. Against Chris Cohen, against Peter White, they were controversial as well. He had his feet on the rope when he beat Cohen. He used a low blow to defeat Peter White. So Martn Pain will be ready to deal with absolutely any kind of underhanded tactics. It's a good job we have a highly experienced referee and Rainer Ringer there. Knows Metehan well, knows exactly the kind of shenanigans he might try and pull off. Hip toss from Pain. And once more, Metehan to the outside. Metehan getting highly frustrated at his inability to make a dent in the armor here of the openweight champion. I was going to say pacing up and down, but he's storming up and down as Metehan. Slapping the edge of the ring. Metehan putting the belt down. Referee was warning him about it, I think. It's one thing to slap the edge of the ring. You slap your opponent with it, you're going to get disqualified. Pain just following Metehan around, and Metehan smartly lured him in there, and just as he came under the bottom rope, he's launched his attack. Well timed here from the Babo. Not especially sporting, but I don't think any of us would claim that Metehan is a gentleman when it comes to his in-ring style. It's like a predator the way he circles his opponents, is Metehan. Look how he carefully measures the exact pinpoint spot that he wants to hit those kicks with. Once more circling the champion. Delivering a beating here. And again, in Metehan's mind, he'll be thinking, I'm going to deliver this beat down for as long as I want, and then at my leisure, going to pin the man and become the champion. But it might be a bit more complicated than that, because Martn Pain has been one hell of a champion over these past 9 months. Metehan might find it out here. The clothesline from Pain. The elbow. The dropkick right into the face of the Babo. Pain with a nod of recognition, of acknowledgement to the support from the fans here. He's got Metehan up in a gorilla press. Great power from Martn Pain to drop Metehan on his face. Pain will try and get the cover. Just about got a 1 count, I think, before Metehan kicked out. That's the thing with Metehan. You can score a mini victory over him, like hitting something like a gorilla press slam. That is a long way from keeping him down for the 1-2-3 or causing a submission. Because Metehan, when he explodes with this unconfined rage like he is here, it is an offense that is almost impossible to defend against. Pain now tossed casually by Metehan onto that hard wooden floor. Metehan has decided, apparently, that he wants to take the fight to the champion on the outside. Gonna ram the small of the back into the edge of the ring. Got to be a little bit careful here, though, Metehan. Title can't change hands on a count out. Needs to get the champion back in well before the counter attack. What's he doing here? Wrapping the neck around the steel post. Referee urgently telling Metehan to break. That is a dangerous thing to do. Metehan broke it before the count of 5, thankfully. Pain tried to dive at Metehan there, couldn't do it. Metehan dropping him across that top rope, the back of the shoulders, taking the brunt of the impact there. Metehan's lining up Martn Pain. Metehan, another perfectly measured kick. Try and turn him over for a neck breaker onto the knee. Goes for the pin once more. Once more Martn Pain kicking out, but it has been a systematic dismantling here of Martn Pain over the past 2 or 3 minutes by Metehan. Champion is going to have to come up with an effective defensive strategy here. He's going to have to do it very, very quickly. He's going to find himself back in that locker room without the title. Metehan keeping up that methodical pace. Pain trying to mix it up. Tries to get some shots in here on Metehan. Quick scoop slam delivered with aggression. Metehan, you saw him shrugging his shoulders there, expecting more respect, I think, from the Pro Wrestling Austria fans. Heard him shouting out at the start to one of the fans that, well, you boo me now, you won't boo me when I'm the champion. He's going to beat the respect into the fans by proxy, by beating it into Martn Pain. That's the plan here, I think, for Metehan. Metehan's going to send Pain into the corner. It was such force that bounced right back out of there. Metehan will go for the cover, then forcing that throat down into the canvas. Pain still able to kick out, but he is more than a little worse for wear. Here is the champion. We thought it might be among the biggest threats that he's faced in the 3/4 of a year that he's held that title, and so it is proving to be. Metehan with 80 or 90% of the offense here. And that kick to the side of the head. The brain rattling inside the skull for Martn Pain. You could hear a pin drop in here as these fans almost praying for Martn Pain to find a way back in. He was trying to kick away at Metehan there. That didn't work. Metehan's going to twist the ankles, popping the hips there and just wrenching the neck as a result. And again, just lying in wait. So businesslike is Metehan. Sweeps the legs away. Going to turn him over into a Boston Crab. Can Metehan force a submission to become the openweight champion? Metehan with a snarl on his face. He's just waiting for the inevitable tap out here, but I'm not sure there's anything inevitable about it. He's cinching down, adding that pressure onto the lower back. Pain is relatively close to that bottom rope. If he can just adjust his body position slightly, he's able to get onto his back, and he kicks Metehan away. That's another way out. You don't have to get to the ropes if you can turn your body around, use your power in your legs to kick your opponent off of you. That's exactly what Pain did there, but Metehan straight back on him, gets those feet up into the face. Got caught here by Pain as a back suplex. Pain has had so much damage inflicted on him here that it's not going to put him back on top, but what it is going to do, crucially, is it's going to buy him a few seconds. Metehan is down as well. The Babbo might be the one looking more likely to be first back to his feet, but just getting a few gasps of air into his diaphragm here, Martn Pain. That could make a hell of a lot of difference. There's the elbow from Metehan. Pain firing back with shots of his own. Blow for blow. These two go for with the PWÖ Austria openweight title on the line. The clothesline. Metehan tried to get a clothesline of his own. He couldn't get it. Instead, he falls victim to a German suplex. Metehan has forced himself up to his feet in the corner. Pain running in. Metehan had no defense there. Pain's going to try a second time. Another success. Can he get it a third? Yes, he can. If you are a supporter of Metehan, that's a worry, because Metehan unable to put up any resistance there to a trio of clotheslines in the corner. There's a power slam from Pain. Pain may well retain, but the kick out from Metehan keeps him in it. Crowd chanting for Pain. If I was Metehan, I would be getting ready for Pain, because the champion is headed up to the top turnbuckle. Metehan begging off from down on the canvas. Drop of the elbow, beautiful diving elbow from Martn Pain. Pain ignoring the pleas of Metehan. Drop that elbow on him anyway. Pain has Metehan on the shoulders. Metehan desperately trying to wriggle his way free. Grabbed the top rope, that helped him out. Strike to the back of the neck. Now Metehan dropping him on the top of his head. Metehan able to dump Martn Pain on his head. Is this it for Martn Pain? No, it isn't. The left shoulder comes up. Metehan has won many a match with that move before. Metehan just shaking his head here in disbelief at the resilience of the openweight champion. Oh, Metehan might hit that running strike. Such a devastating hit if he can get it. Here it comes. Oh, Metehan got caught. Metehan got caught by Pain. Pain's going to lock him in a crossface. The crossface here. Pain couldn't quite get that right arm neutralized. Metehan was able to use it to help himself get to his feet. The drop kick though from Pain sends Metehan down. Great brainbuster from Martn Pain. The tide turning towards the champion. Here comes the pin from Pain. Metehan still has something left. Oh, Martn Pain's going to have to go back to the drawing board here. He's got to think about what is the best way, what is the most effective thing I can do right now to keep Metehan down. Pain indicating that the finish is coming. He's already hit that diving elbow. What else can he do from up there? Metehan running in. Pain kind of dodged him there, and I think Metehan may have gone face first into the top turnbuckle. Now both men trying to climb the turnbuckle at the same time. Metehan seems to have the upper hand. He's got that front face hook applied now. Pain though able to headbutt Metehan. Pain now just looking like he's trying to just get his bearings back, ready for a final assault here on this challenge of Metehan. Shoved him into the referee. Referee was dazed there. Metehan with the belt. I don't think the referee saw it. Metehan dropping Pain. Could be a huge miscarriage of justice here, but Martn Pain survives, and that 9-month title reign will last at least a few more moments. We talked about how Metehan's use low blows, feet on the ropes, remove turnbuckle pads. He found another way to cheat there. But unlike those previous 3 occasions, not enough to get him the win here against the openweight champion. What else have you got in your locker, Metehan? Let's find out. Sending Martn Pain into the corner. Hard impact there on Pain, who instantly crumpled down to the canvas. Metehan with that rage that's always simmering. Once again there, it seemed to boil over. Well, Pain comes firing out of the corner with a clothesline. Metehan never saw it coming. The clothesline taking him down. Now Pain up top. Pain with his back to Metehan. He looked like he was going to go for a moonsault, but look at this. Metehan just rolling under that bottom rope to the outside. Well, he might be a little bit smug about it, but he is right, pointing to his brain. That was smart. Maybe not that smart, because Martn Pain is still able to line him up for a torpedo-like dive through the ropes. One of our camera crew there getting a little too close to the action. Hazardous environment here in our main event for the Openweight Championship. Single leg drop kick from Metehan. Metehan once more lining up Pain. And for that strike on the shoulders, the Death Valley driver. Pain hit the Death Valley driver, and again, Metehan had enough wherewithal to roll out of the ring. Pain has won plenty of matches with the Death Valley driver. If he'd been able to just get on top of Metehan there before Metehan escaped, I think Pain would have retained the championship right there and then. Regardless though, even though he briefly at least escaped the ring, Metehan is flat on his back on the arena floor. Big trouble here for the Babo in Lanzenkirchen. Metehan moving very gingerly as he's rolled back into the ring by Pain. With a thumb in the eye from Metehan, again with the referee distracted. Metehan's going to try to steal one again. I think he had a handful of tights as well. Once again looking for the strike. Oh, he caught him on the rebound. As he knocked him out, Martn Pain. Pain could be in enormous trouble. The right shoulder up though. Right shoulder up for the champion. Metehan once more frustrated. You can see it in the eyes, deep in the soul of Metehan. Struggling to understand how Martn Pain is still in this match with him. Metehan with an elbow there to the face, a couple of them in fact, looking for a third, couldn't get it. Pain still with some fight left. Metehan looking to extinguish that remaining fighting spirit. Snap suplex might go some way towards doing it. Metehan shaking his head, presumably in disbelief. The ability of the champion to endure. He's back on his feet again. Seemingly he's found a second win here as Pain. Kick around the side of the head of Metehan. Pain will send him to the ropes. Big boot right into the face. Metehan, I'm not sure what he's reaching for. Pain's not going to let him get there regardless. Elbow from Metehan. He's got that belt again. That's what he's reaching for. He's reaching for that belt another time. It's been caught in the act. Caught red-handed. Martn Pain standing on the hand of Metehan, stomping on that hand. And now Pain, another Death Valley driver. Martn Pain gonna hook the leg, and Martn Pain retains the Openweight Championship against the Babo.
Sieger dieses Main Events und damit weiterhin PWÖ Openweight Champion Martn Pain!
There are a good number of people who said it couldn't be done. Martn Pain defies the naysayers. Survives an onslaught from Metehan in the first half of the match. Gradually scraped and clawed his way back into this and managed in the end, after a second Death Valley driver, to retain the Pro Wrestling Austria Openweight Championship. Let's hear from our successful champion.
Also das war ein hinterhältiger Deutscher. Ich muss euch eins sagen, jetzt habe ich schon ein paar Mal diesen Titel hier verteidigen dürfen und das auch erfolgreich. Und wenn ich so nachdenke, waren das alles nur nicht Österreicher. Deutsche oder Österreicher, die nach Deutschland gegangen sind. Und das heißt, PWÖ, ich habe einen Wunschgegner. Einen Wrestler, der schon lange in Österreich aktiv ist. Gegen den ich noch nie gewonnen habe. Auch nicht in einem Einzelmatch. Unsere Geschichte geht bereits 16, 17 Jahre zurück, als ich 15, 16 war. Auch da hat er mich besiegt. Da war seine Erfahrung der Vorteil. Jetzt hat er noch mehr Erfahrung. PWÖ, ich wünsche mir ein Match gegen Chris Kohlen. Chris Kohlen, der Kaiser aus Österreich. Martn Pain, Champ Pain gegen Kaiser Kohlen. Und das bei Kapitel 10 im März bei der PWÖ. Und ich glaube, ihr alle wollt das sehen. Also PWÖ, nehmt ihr an und fragt den Kohlen, ob er auch drauf Lust hat. Danke.
Talk about laying down the gauntlet. The Openweight Champion Martn Pain wants Kohlen.
Liebe Freunde, lasst es noch mal hören für euren Openweight Champion, Martn Pain!
So will we get it? Chapter 10, March 28th. Could it be champion versus Emperor? Martn Pain versus the Austrian Wolverine, Chris Kohlen. An enormous victory tonight for Martn Pain. But Pain just wants to keep on raising the bar time and time again. Can you imagine what it's going to be like if we see Martn Pain against Chris Kohlen? A tremendous night's work here for Martn Pain, with his sights set on Chris Kohlen for March 28th, Chapter 10. In the meantime, from here in Lanzenkirchen, Chapter 9 under pressure, all of us at Pro Wrestling Austria say good night and thank you for joining us.